Life is beautiful. Life is about relationships. The bonds we form through these relationships are sacred. They make us feel whole, they inspire us to be great, and they are there to pick us up when we fall or when life gets us down. They are the antidote to sadness. Life is so beautiful because these bonds can develop unexpectedly. Call it fate or destiny or whatever you want. If you keep your eyes, your mind, and your heart open, the world finds a way to put you where you need to be. This is Jay. He and I met on Daniel Negreanu's Full Contact Poker Forum. We met for the first time in person in 2008, and since then he's become one of my best friends. This is Andy. Jay and Andy met at the final table of a poker tournament. After it ended, Andy invited Jay and Ken, another one of our good friends, to a bar. From that day on, Andy became one of their best friends. Jody and I got to know Andy pretty well too. We had heard a lot about him, and when we met him, he lived up to the hype. He was always smiling and always up for anything. We visited Florida often to hang out with our group of friends, and we got houses together for the World Series of Poker in Las Vegas and in West Palm Beach. We had lots of laughs and memorable times. Andy and Jay and this group of friends were some of the best people I'd ever met, and it was all because of poker. For most of our friendship, Jody and I never knew that Andy had cystic fibrosis. In July of 2012, Andy was hospitalized and in need of a lung transplant. On dinner break of the WSOP main event, I met up with Jody and she let me know that Andy had passed away. I got knocked out of the tournament not too long after dinner break, and that night Jody and I decided that we needed to fly to Florida to be there with our friends. We had never met Andy's mom Pam before, but we had heard a lot about her from Andy and Jay. The day after Andy had passed away, we met her for the first time when we went to what was supposed to be a quick lunch at a restaurant called Ceviche. That quick lunch turned into 10 hours worth of sangria and stories about Andy. It was one of the most memorable days of my life. The bond with Pam that was created that day and during that week of celebrating Andy's life has continued to this day. Since then, we have spent a lot of time together, doing cystic fibrosis walks, sharing houses across the country, and our favorite pastime, laughing and crying while telling Andy stories. It felt fitting that Pam and Jay were coming up for a visit just at the time that I needed to make a vlog interviewing someone who has been with me on my poker journey.
That's when the healing began for me. Everybody there, and after the loss, and I still do, I crave stories about him. And that's exactly how it happened. And everybody started saying, we're going to tell another Andy story, and it was just story after story after story. But that's when I started to heal. The night after he died, that was when I started to heal, surrounded by all the people he loved, such good men, such good women, such good friends, but that's where my healing began, and with all the support that was around me. But it was real important for Andy he had that all set up. He had it all set up that everybody was going to, he told everybody, it was real important, he told everybody how much he loved his mom, because he wanted them to come around me and support me. It was real important to him. And that's exactly what's happened 6 years later. Here we are 6 years later. Yeah. I love you all just as much as I love about anybody. And you can ask anybody that knows me. You all are the core of my family now. It's like you're my family now. And I love seeing you with your families. That's what good men you are, what good husbands you are. How good you are to your kids. That's the thing that I know Andy chose really good friends, and it speaks to what a good man he was.
So, and now every time that we are together now, it's kind of like that day all over again too. And we share stories and we get to talk about Andy, which is great for all of us. There's just so many different Andy stories. One of my poker screen names is Pam Certainly.
He decided one day he was going to make a sports handicapping service. And he decided the story was going to be a guy that was banned from Vegas casinos named Ronnie Certainly that essentially retired, came to Florida, and now he had so much money now he just wanted to provide the service to people. So we would always joke, when Andy needed money or help that he would have to call his mom Pam Certainly.
The very first thing he told me about Trevor was, Trevor's got it together.
Now the year before in Vegas, Trevor passed out while feeding his 8-month-old daughter. Woke up hours later and put her.
So I think
Never
it's
mind that.
yeah. Well, no, it's because he could admire the fact that I could do that, and then also still have it together with the family.
In your defense, you drank a lot of Sailor Jerry.
There's a lot of Sailor Jerry in it. Maybe he saw the potential of me getting it together. He lived life the way you should live it, with
Smile on his face.
Smile
all the
on
time.
his face.
Super charming, but he loves people. Yeah, he never said no to things. Like if you asked him to do something.
Like Jody mentioned, Cam asks about him a lot, and it's because she thinks about that a lot. For me, that was what was a big cause of my anxiety. So talking with Cam about Andy and about how he lived his life, I think, has been really beneficial for me, and I think going forward for her will be really beneficial too.
For it to be such good people, and to have so much in common, and you all came from different parts of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
All had different backgrounds, but one of the things Andy would get furious about, somebody said something about his gambling buddies, and he would come unglued,
Yeah.
and he would say, they're the best men I've ever met in my life.
When you think about Andy and Andy's life, what would you feel like his legacy and the things that people can take from Andy's life going forward?
I think the love in his heart. He had a light that was within that would shine in his life, and how people gravitated toward him. He was just sort of like a magnet in ways, to see him live his life the way he did, to die with dignity, to have the friends he had, and to have a love for his mother. And he set it all up for his mother to be loved by his friends in ICU. He was so sick, but wanted me to go out with his friends that night, because he wanted those friends to know me, to love me like he did. And I think the other thing is that he's still living now, because we're still talking about him.
Exactly.
His friends are still talking about him. People still talk about him. And this is 6 years later. And my family, they're amazed. They thought after Andy died that all the friends would dissipate, nobody'd be around. And it's the total opposite. It's like we get closer and closer. That was the other thing. He was an old soul. And he was very sensitive about things. And he would sit, before he died, I spent the last year with him, and he would tell me special things about each of his friends that he wanted me to know. Like I had to know those things, because he wanted me to take care of his friends the way he knew his friends would take care of me. It was a two-way street. If you could look at people in a different light, that was one of the things he always did too. I would be so close-minded sometimes about people, and he'd say, Mom, you got to get to know them, and you got to see this, and he would see them in a totally different light. So everything was how it was supposed to be while he was living, and after he's died, I really truly believe that. I think it was all, just like you're talking about how you all met.
Mm-hmm.
I think everything was just how it needed to be at the end, for my comfort. And I look back at it now, I can look at the beauty in his death, because there was beauty there. It's sad and we're without him, but there's beauty there now. And we can look back and see the beauty in it now, and we can grow. And I just hope that you all take what you learned from him and you can apply it to your life. Because just like you're saying, because he keeps on living that way. And that's the thing that I love about it, that people still talk to me about it. I still crave stories about it. Like tonight, you could have told me you were going to take me anywhere, spend lots of money on me or anything, but this right here is better than anything you could ever do. This was worth the whole trip up here, even flying Frontier.
Life is beautiful. It's full of opportunities to be there for people we love, to find new people to love, and to keep alive the memories of those we've loved and lost. It's about those sacred bonds that are created from the laughs and the tears and the stories. And if you do it right, the stories never end.